It's 500 years in the future. You're traveling on a spaceship when the unthinkable occurs. You crash on an unknown planet. Could you survive? Well, I'm going to list the top 5 reasons you wouldn't survive pitch black. The first reason you wouldn't survive is, you were in a horrible crash. I would say the odds of surviving a crash like this are slim to none. You might think you'd be safe traveling in a ship from the future, but given the fact that it only took a few small rocks trailing from this comet to bring this thing down, I don't think its crash safety rating is going to be too high. And that's not even considering the fact that the pilot wants to dump your ass. This thing is spinning uncontrollably and the windshield breaks before it even hits the ground. I think it's safe to say they spared a few expenses when they built this thing.
Spared no expense.
Just take a look at the wreckage, and inside the ship is a mess. The fact that only one person got shish kebab is a miracle. The second reason you wouldn't survive is, you are stuck on a desolate planet. So you are stuck on an alien planet with a destroyed ship and very few supplies. They have a very small amount of water and some alcohol, which if you choose to drink would actually just dehydrate you even faster.
Probably shouldn't do this. Dehydrates you even more.
They don't really talk about their food situation, but they either have none or very little. So basically you have almost no time to get off this planet. All they know about this planet is that it's hot, it has 3 suns, and the air seems to be a bit thin.
Is anyone else having difficulties breathing?
Yeah, feel one lung short.
The third reason you would not survive is dangerous people. If being stranded on a hostile planet wasn't bad enough, you're stuck with people who would kill you without a second thought, or people who are just completely useless, and being useless in a situation like this is very dangerous. So let's go through our merry band of survivors here. First, we have Riddick, who is a murderer with admittedly some pretty cool eyes and the disregard of human life. Next, we have Johns, who is a bounty hunter that captured Riddick, and we know he is a liar because he pretended to be a cop when he isn't. Now, he never explicitly said that he was a cop, but he carries a badge and never corrected them when they said he was a cop, so that counts as lying to me. Not to mention, he also let Owens here die a painful death when he had plenty of drugs to knock him out. Now let's take a look at Fry, our heroic pilot, who wanted to dump you during the crash to save her own skin.
I'm not gonna die for them.
However, being riddled with guilt makes her more selfless to the point where she is willing to sacrifice herself for others. And now keep in mind, this entire movie takes place over the course of one day. I'm sorry, but this is not how human nature works. If she was willing to dump you to save herself, she isn't going to suddenly flip a switch and become a saint. Next, we have Abu and 3 of his followers who basically just rely on God to save them, which has never worked for anyone. Then we have Sharon, who is a mechanic. I guess it's not very clear. She basically just drives the Sandcat, and she ends up dying as soon as the sun goes down. A pretty horrible death to these baby Bioraptors here. We also have this kid Jack, who has a strange obsession with Riddick. Then we have Zeke, who just digs a hole and dies. And next we have this guy who cares more about his stuff than his own life. Oh, and we can't forget this guy who just shows up and gets shot in the back, so not exactly the A-team. The fourth reason you wouldn't survive is poor decision making. So they decide that they need to find water and well.
Blue sun, blue water.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way, but because of the plot armor, they end up finding a small town-like place with water and a ship off of this rock. If you were in their shoes, you would wander aimlessly through the desert until you died from dehydration, which would happen even faster from all that booze you're drinking. Zeke here is digging graves for everyone, which is a nice sentiment, but should not be a priority. You are wasting valuable time and energy that you just don't have. You should be in survival mode, not worrying about what to do with all the bodies. Another poor decision is they decided to check the hole where Zeke was killed. Look, you don't need to be an ace detective to figure out that Riddick was telling the truth and that there was something down there. Just look at where he died. There is blood everywhere and Riddick doesn't have a drop on him. There is no way he killed him. There is absolutely no reason to go down this hole in the film. Her plot armor saved her, but you wouldn't be so lucky. Most likely you would just have gotten eaten by these things.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yes, it was. So they learn that an eclipse happens every 22 years, and they have no idea how long it's going to last, and Johns wants to bring the power cells at the last possible second so Riddick doesn't kill the pilot, take the ship, and just leave them on the planet. But all of this could have just been avoided if he just killed Riddick in the first place. But here we have Johns making a deal with Riddick. Now I know he didn't kill Zeke like I went over before, but he is still a murderer. Trusting him is just plain stupid.
My recommendation to me.
He should have listened. They also at one point take shelter in this small cave and block the opening with a rock, and just trust that Riddick is going to come back for them. They do find some sort of glowing bug-like creatures in the cave, which allows Fry to go after Riddick, because she knows how stupid it was to just let him leave them there in this cave. When she doesn't die on the way there, somehow she does convince him to go back for them, which I find very unlikely, but whatever.
I got a better idea. Come with me.
She should have just listened to Riddick, but they go back to get them. They make it back without much issue, except Riddick somehow is the one who falls behind and ends up getting trapped by two of them. Not sure how he didn't just die, but he ends up killing them off screen, and Fry finds him just in time to die in his arms. At least she finally got punished for one of her poor decisions. Another dumb thing they do is when Riddick powers down the ship to let the Bioraptors get close so he can kill a few of them. Yeah, let's risk damaging our ship. I hope it's worth it when we ultimately crash again and then get ripped to shred by these things. The fifth reason you wouldn't survive is the Bioraptors. These hell beasts are extremely aggressive, have razor-sharp teeth, long tails that split into two ends like a fork. Their wrists conceal spike feelers that extend longer than the Bioraptor itself, which is about 6.5 feet long if you're wondering, to strike its prey. They also have 2 feet that have 4 monstrous talons radiating towards the front. If all of that wasn't bad enough, they can smell blood. So I hope you didn't get any cuts from that crash earlier. They also have ultrasonic sensors on the long stalks on either side of their head, which Riddick does exploit to try to escape from one, but gets cut off by another. In reality, it would not be just one every time we see these Bioraptors. They are in packs, except for when they're attacking our survivors. What they would really be doing is lying in wait, looking for any opportunity to strike and attacking you 100 at a time, not conveniently attacking one at a time, giving you a chance to fight back. If you don't have bright light surrounding you at all times, you are dead. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me, and let me know down in the comments below how long you think you could survive. And remember, never trust a killer.